The fluorescent lights in Dr. Martinez's office cast harsh shadows across the MRI images clipped to the light board. Stage 3B pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor. The words had become as familiar as my own name over the past 18 months, though I'd never spoken them aloud to my family. Your response to the treatment protocol has been remarkable, Emma, Dr. Martinez said, adjusting his glasses. The tumor markers are down 60% from baseline. You're exceeding all our projections. I nodded, feeling the familiar weight of the port beneath my collarbone where the chemo infusions went. At 28, I'd become an expert at hiding the exhaustion, the nausea, the bone-deep fatigue that came with fighting a cancer most people my age never faced. My sister Jessica thought I was playing sick for attention. I need to ask again, Dr. Martinez continued, about your support system. Cancer treatment is intensive, and having family understanding is crucial for outcomes. I almost laughed. Jessica, 31 and golden in our parents' eyes, had spent the last year telling anyone who'd listen that I was faking illness to get out of family obligations. She'd convinced Mom and Dad that my frequent doctor appointments were actually spa days, that my weight loss was from some trendy diet, that my pale complexion was just me being dramatic. They don't know, I said simply, and I'd prefer to keep it that way for now. Dr. Martinez frowned. Emma, pancreatic nets are serious. Even with your excellent response, this is a significant medical condition. Your family should understand what you're going through. What they understood was that Jessica had just gotten promoted to senior marketing manager at a mid-tier advertising firm. What they celebrated was her new downtown loft and her engagement to Brad, whose family owned a chain of car dealerships. What they saw when they looked at me was their quiet younger daughter who worked remotely as a data analyst and lived in a small apartment, contributing nothing exciting to family gatherings. They didn't see that I'd been managing investment portfolios on the side since college, or that my boring data analysis work involved consulting for Fortune 500 companies on market predictions. They certainly didn't see that I'd been quietly paying for Dad's heart medication since his insurance wouldn't cover the full cost, or that Mom's lucky lottery win last year that paid off their mortgage had actually been money I'd transferred anonymously. There's something else, Dr. Martinez said, pulling out a thick folder. Dr. Hassan from Oncology Research wants to feature your case in the upcoming national conference. Your response rate and the biomarker patterns we've documented could help other patients. The presentation would be part of the keynote address. I stared at the folder. Inside were dozens of test results, scans, treatment protocols, 18 months of fighting a disease my family thought I was pretending to have. What would that involve? The conference is here in the city next month. Dr. Hassan would present your case anonymously, but the data is remarkable enough that several major cancer centers want to review your treatment approach. And he hesitated. The pharmaceutical company funding your trial wants to nominate you for their Patient Advocacy Award. It comes with recognition at their national summit. The irony wasn't lost on me. Jessica's biggest achievement was landing a regional campaign for frozen dinners, while I was apparently becoming a medical case study that could influence cancer treatment nationwide. But to my family she was the success story and I was the attention-seeking hypochondriac. My phone buzzed with a text from Jessica. Mom's birthday dinner Sunday. Don't even think about canceling with another fake emergency. Last month I'd missed Dad's retirement party because of a severe reaction to a new chemo protocol. Jessica had posted on social media about my convenient absence, suggesting I couldn't handle not being the center of attention. The comments from relatives agreeing with her had stung worse than the foreneedle. Dr. Martinez, I said slowly, this conference, would it be open to families? Could they attend if they wanted to learn about the condition? He nodded. Absolutely. We encourage family education. There's actually a special session for families dealing with rare cancers like yours. An idea was forming. Jessica had been telling everyone I was lying about being sick. She'd convinced our parents that my medical appointments were fabricated, that my fatigue was laziness, that my careful diet restrictions were just me being difficult at family meals. What if I gave her the chance to prove it? Build up. The next family dinner was as predictable as Jessica's need to dominate every conversation. She spent 40 minutes detailing her latest client presentation while I pushed food around my plate, managing the nausea that had become my constant companion. Emma, you're being awfully quiet, Mom observed. Are you feeling all right? Before I could answer, Jessica rolled her eyes. She's fine, Mom. She just likes the attention when everyone fusses over her imaginary problems. Dad chuckled. Your sister does seem to have a lot of mysterious ailments lately. Mysterious. Kept my voice level. I've been very clear about having medical issues. Right? Jessica said, taking a large gulp of wine. Medical issues that somehow never have actual names or test results. Funny how you can never quite explain what's wrong, just that you're always too sick for family events. The familiar anger rose in my chest, but I'd learned to manage that too. Emotional regulation was crucial during treatment. Stress hormones could interfere with healing. What would convince you? I asked. Jessica laughed. Oh, I don't know. Maybe an actual diagnosis? Medical records? A doctor who isn't some quack you found online. Jessica. Mom said weakly, but she didn't really sound disapproving. No, Mom, this has gone on long enough. Emma gets to skip everything she doesn't want to do by claiming she's sick, and we all just accept it. Remember when she missed your anniversary dinner? Or Dad's retirement party? Always some convenient medical emergency that nobody else can verify. Brad, Jessica's fiancé, shifted uncomfortably. Maybe we should. Stay out of it, Jessica snapped. You don't know how she's manipulated this family for years. The sad little act, the mysterious doctor appointments, always needing special treatment. It's pathetic. I set down my fork carefully. You really want medical verification? I'd love it. Show me one real test result, one actual diagnosis, one legitimate doctor's report. Anything that proves you're not just making this up for attention. Okay, I said simply. There's a medical conference next month at University Hospital. Dr. Martinez is presenting on rare cancers. You could come with me, meet him, see the actual medical evidence you're asking for. The table went quiet. Jessica's confident smirk faltered slightly. A conference? Dad asked. Yes. They have sessions for families to learn about different conditions. You could ask Dr. Martinez any questions you want, see any test results that would satisfy your need for proof. Jessica's face had gone a shade paler, but her pride wouldn't let her back down. Fine. I'll go to your little medical conference. But when this doctor of yours turns out to be some naturopath selling essential oils, don't expect any sympathy. Dr. Rodriguez Martinez, I said clearly. Chief of Oncology at University Hospital. The conference is the National Cancer Research Summit. I'll register you as my guest. The word oncology hung in the air like a physical presence. Mom's fork clattered to her plate. Oncology, she whispered. Don't fall for it, Jessica said quickly, though her voice had lost its earlier conviction. She's just picking scary-sounding medical terms to make this more dramatic. But I could see doubt creeping into her eyes. Oncology wasn't a word you threw around casually, and University Hospital wasn't some strip mall clinic. Still, Jessica had spent so long committed to her narrative about my deception that she couldn't back down now. The conference is February 15th through 17th, I continued. Dr. Martinez is giving a keynote presentation on Friday morning about treatment outcomes in rare pancreatic cancers. You're welcome to attend that too. Pancreatic cancer? Dad's voice was barely audible. Neuroendocrine tumor specifically. Stage 3B at diagnosis, currently responding well to treatment. The clinical terms fell into the dining room like stones into still water. Jessica opened her mouth, then closed it, then opened it again. You're lying, she said, but it sounded more like a question than an accusation. Am I? You'll know for sure in 3 weeks. Mom had started crying silently. Dad's face had gone gray. Brad was staring at his plate like he wished he could disappear into it. Only Jessica remained defiant, though cracks were showing in her armor. This is just another manipulation. Some elaborate scheme to make us all feel guilty for calling out your behavior. Then prove it, I said. Come to the conference. Meet Dr. Martinez. Ask him anything you want. If I'm lying about having cancer, it should be pretty easy to expose. The challenge hung between us. Jessica had painted herself into a corner with months of public accusations. She couldn't refuse without looking like she was backing down, but agreeing meant potentially facing the truth she'd refused to see. Fine, she said finally. I'll be there. And when this whole charade falls apart, I expect apologies from everyone who enabled this nonsense. Revelation. The University Hospital Conference Center buzzed with hundreds of oncologists, researchers, and pharmaceutical executives. I'd registered Jessica as my guest for the family education sessions, but I'd also made sure she'd be in the main auditorium for Dr. Hassan's keynote presentation. She'd arrived that morning with the same confident air she'd maintained for weeks, convinced she was about to expose my elaborate deception. She didn't know that my case study was the centerpiece of the morning's presentation, or that 3 pharmaceutical executives wanted to discuss my biomarker patterns, or that Dr. Martinez had spent the previous evening reviewing my treatment response data with colleagues who'd traveled from Mayo Clinic and Johns Hopkins specifically to learn about my case. "This is quite a production," Jessica muttered as we checked in at registration. The woman at the desk handed her a badge marked Family Education Track and gave me one labeled Patient Advisory Board. Patient Advisory Board? Jessica read over my shoulder, her first flicker of uncertainty showing. We found seats in the packed auditorium just as Dr. Hassan took the stage. The presentation began with standard cancer statistics, but I could see Jessica relaxing, thinking this was all generic medical information that proved nothing. Then Dr. Hassan clicked to his next slide. Exceptional Response Case Study. 28-year-old female with pancreatic NET. My scans filled the massive screen behind him. The tumor measurements, the treatment timeline, the dramatic reduction in cancer markers over 18 months. Jessica's face went white as Dr. Hassan detailed the rarity of my cancer type and the remarkable success of my treatment protocol. This patient, Dr. Hassan continued, has become a model case for how aggressive early treatment combined with novel pharmaceutical protocols can achieve outcomes we rarely see in pancreatic malignancies. The patient has maintained full functionality throughout treatment while achieving a 63% reduction in tumor burden. He clicked through more slides showing my blood work, my genetic testing results, my treatment response curves. Every piece of medical data that proved not only that I had cancer, but that I was fighting it successfully while my family accused me of faking illness for attention. The pharmaceutical sponsor has nominated this patient for recognition at the National Summit, Dr. Hassan said. Her case is now being studied by research teams at 6 major cancer centers as a model for treatment protocols. Jessica was gripping her chair arms so tightly her knuckles had gone white. Around us, oncologists were taking notes, asking questions about my specific biomarkers, discussing how my treatment approach could be applied to other patients. Dr. Hassan concluded by mentioning that the patient was present at the conference, contributing to ongoing research as a patient advocate. Several people in our section turned to look around, but I remained still. After the presentation, Dr. Martinez found us in the hallway. "Emma, I want to introduce you to some colleagues who've been reviewing your case." Jessica watched in stunned silence as 3 renowned oncologists shook my hand, discussing my treatment data like I was a medical celebrity. Dr. Chin from Johns Hopkins mentioned that my case was being written up for publication in the Journal of Clinical Oncology. Dr. Williams from MD Anderson asked about my quality of life during treatment. "Your response has been remarkable," Dr. Chin told me. "Pancreatic NETs with this staging typically have much poorer outcomes. Your case is going to help a lot of other patients." As they walked away, Jessica finally found her voice. That was really you? Those scans." Dr. Martinez looked between us with concern. "Jessica, isn't it? Emma mentioned you had questions about her condition." Jessica started, then stopped. The weight of 18 months of accusations was settling on her shoulders. "I didn't know. He never said. I thought she was." "Your sister has been remarkably strong through this," Dr. Martinez said gently. "Pancreatic cancer is frightening under the best circumstances. Having family support makes an enormous difference in outcomes." Jessica's face crumpled as the full reality hit her. Not only had I been fighting cancer while she accused me of faking illness, but I'd been doing it so successfully that I'd become a medical case study. Her little sister, the one she'd dismissed as an attention-seeking fake, was being celebrated by some of the country's top cancer specialists. Resolution. The fallout was swift and thorough. Jessica's breakdown in the hospital hallway had been witnessed by several family members she'd invited to watch Emma get exposed. Mom and Dad arrived just in time to see Dr. Martinez explaining my 18-month treatment history and prognosis. By that evening, everyone knew. The family group chat Jessica had used to mock my fake illnesses became a stream of horrified apologies. Relatives who'd made jokes about my convenient medical emergencies at Jessica's encouragement were calling to express their shame. Jessica's professional life imploded when her boss discovered she'd been publicly spreading medical misinformation about a cancer patient, me. The advertising firm, already struggling with public image issues, fired her within days to distance themselves from the controversy. The pharmaceutical company's Patient Advocacy Award came with a $50,000 grant and speaking opportunities at medical conferences nationwide. I donated the money to pancreatic cancer research, noting in the dedication that it was given in honor of families who support patients through difficult treatments. Jessica lost her apartment, her job, and most of her social circle when word spread about how she treated her cancer-fighting sister. Brad's family, prominent in local business circles, quietly ended the engagement when they learned about Jessica's behavior. I continued my treatment with Dr. Martinez, surrounded now by the family support that had been absent for 18 months. But I also maintained the boundaries I'd learned to set. Jessica's apologies, desperate and frequent, went unanswered. Some cruelties, especially those involving life-threatening illness, don't get forgiven simply because the truth eventually surfaces. My latest scans show continued tumor regression. The clinical trial data from my case has been accepted for publication and will help develop treatment protocols for other patients. Sometimes the quiet ones surprise everyone, even oncologists who've seen everything.